Guess what Oscar wore?
Board shorts.
And thongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
This week in e-commerce, episode 140. I am Mal here, recording from yet another airport in Perth right now. Alex, how are you?
I'm well, Mal. How are you going?
I'm pretty good. Off to Singapore yet again for the second time this year to do a keynote at a Meta C-suite event, which they've got over there, which will be a lot of fun. But as I was saying before, it's a long way to go for a 20-minute keynote.
Yeah, long way there, long way back. In the middle of June as well, busiest time of year, right?
Yeah, but it's also going to be a good time because it's freezing over here. So I'm looking forward to getting a couple of days of warm weather. Look, and it's always an honor to speak at these sort of events as well. So doing the closing keynote, 20-minute keynote to a group of about 80 or so C-suite executives from across the region. So really excited about that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Don't kind of tell the secrets now, but we'll be interested to hear high level about the keynote next episode.
Absolutely. I think Nora will want me to speak about it at another event as well. So a lot going on. As you said before, we are in end of financial year month, as we were last week, but things are really, really starting to ramp up. And with that, the news is also ramping up as well. So to get straight into it, our first quick for the day is about Barbeques Galore. So Barbeques Galore, we talked about them a little while ago. They'd entered administration with their new owners, Gordon Brothers, who only purchased them in December last year, placing them into administration. Now, their deed of company arrangement, which is the arrangement which you put forward to the administrators to revive the company, has been rejected by the creditors, which means that they are officially going to be closing shop. So all company-owned stores are going to be winding up, I believe, by the end of the month, and all gift cards will only be honoured up to the end of the month as well, but on a 2-for-1 basis. For every $1 of the gift card, you need to spend double that amount to receive it back. So I'm personally not surprised that it went to this level because, as we discussed before, it always seemed a bit like this might have been the plan all along.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And for that quick turnaround as well, right? Like where December to now is pretty wild. It's a lot of stores. I think it's 50 something, right, across Australia?
Yeah, 59 stores and
Yeah.
about 500 or so staff, 500 or so jobs at risk.
Have to see what kind of takes that slot at the Homemakers Centre.
Yeah, look, and they are an iconic business. If you want barbecues in Australia for decades, that was like the place to go. And you're right, there's going to be a lot of vacant space at a lot of the homemaker centres around the country.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do wonder whether it's going to come back as an online business.
Well, and they had the marketplace element of the business as well, right? There's been a lot of investment into that online infrastructure. It would make sense. I don't think either of us would be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah. And our second quickie is from one Aussie icon, which has been winding down, to another that is actually doing quite well. And this is a story which you shared, where Okanui, a Northern Beaches coastal brand, which is famous for their hibiscus print boardies, have undergoing a bit of a resurgence right now. So they're led by former Waratah CEO Simon Kaspervitz, and they are going gangbusters at the moment. In 50 stockers, 10 of their own stores around the country, and obviously a booming online business as well.
Yeah, this one's a great story. It's a brand that I've been following for a while. I'm not sure if you've been seeing it pop up more and more, but they've had a great growth story, right? They've really owned their niche. And I think from a growth perspective, Australians and swimwear makes sense to the rest of the world. So I think they're getting a bit of success there as well, right?
100%. There was actually in a total tangential to this is the Formula One recently released their Lego collaboration with Oscar Piastri, and every driver got to pick what they wanted, what they will be wearing for their little Lego figurine. Guess what Oscar wore?
Board shorts.
And thongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just any board shorts, they're floral board shorts as well. So it is definitely part of like Australian retro history.
Yeah, agreed. And even again, tangential, but Kalani Keeney's at I think it was Miami Fashion Week last week or the week before, absolutely blowing up. So it's a great category at the moment.
Yeah, look, it definitely shows that, swimwear is fairly resilient for some of these heritage Australia brands, but really the ones especially who lean into, that whole Australiana 70s, 80s retro vibe, as we've talked about, that's become cool again, right? And it's something which is really distinctive and it's something which we can really own too and really hard to copy. And I think that's really important for any brand which is going to do well over this period.
Yeah.
Okay, our third quickie is Click Frenzy, who we announced a little while ago. Our new owners in Gabby and Hetzi Lebovich, they have announced their first event. So they are coming back on 18th of June, so right in the middle of peak EOFY, with a week-long EOFY sale.
Mm.
So typical Click Frenzy, big deals. It's actually been sponsored by Australia Post, which I didn't find that surprising. Where the first 500 retailers who onboarded this are going to be able to get on free, whereas before you had to pay to become an official Click Frenzy partner. They're giving it away free through Australia Post.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like any smaller brand, emerging brands, that's a great opportunity to get involved early. And I'm sure they'll have more kind of structures like that as well, with the first to jump on and have some kind of kickbacks.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see how this one goes. I'd love to see the numbers after it comes out, but also if people are going to be doing the kind of hijacking it as well with their XYZ frenzy type sale.
Yeah.
But also how litigious they're going to be, because I remember that the Ryan Arnott and the original Click Frenzy mob were highly litigious for anyone who was using the word anything frenzy
Yeah.
during this period. So I'll be curious to see whether the Leiboviches do the same, but then also what the take up is as well, because everyone's just expecting end of financial year sales, whether a sale event within a sale event is actually going to have much traction. You would have seen that Amazon, they've actually gone early with their sales. So they've just finished their mid-year sale last week. So they got
Mm.
on well before anyone else.
Yeah, there's talking to a few brands as well. There's brands, and we spoke about this last week, right? Brands that went on sale the first week of June. I know others that aren't starting until the last couple of days, and then they're pulling that into July. So it's really a 2-month event by the time everybody sorts themselves out.
Yeah, yeah. I know a few who are leaking into July, but my advice for everyone is like if you want to actually have decent sales after that and not to just burn out your customers, but also your brand, go short, go hard, and that's it.
Right.
Create some
And
urgency around it rather than push for too long.
100%. And this is the time to be focusing on building your list, building your audiences for peak and Black Friday and all of that. This just should be an event to help kickstart that before we finish up.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving from the smaller end of town to the larger end of town, this is a story which has only recently resurfaced because it actually came out about 2 years ago. But as you pointed out, has been doing the rounds on TikTok again, which is the Coles and Palantir deal, which was apparently signed in February 2024, but has only just started to gain viral traction again.
Yeah. Were you familiar with this
I,
story?
I did talk about it. Paul and I did talk about it in one of our early episodes. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think, look, it's a great story for TikTok because we've got Woolworths in the news, we've got Coles in the news, there's cost of living, but also this business, Palantir, I think if I'm pronouncing it correctly,
Hmm. Yep.
their language or the language used to describe them seems super military-esque. It's really, I made note of it. It's like one platform to rule them all. It's really strange language that I think it's just, yeah, it's a great story to report on.
Yeah, it's used for surveillance. Like a lot of the
Yeah,
military, those military type organizations, intelligence organizations like the CIA,
yeah.
ICE in America, but also the IDF as well, use them to surveil populations. And for Coles to come out and say, we're not going to be using it for anything like that, I smell something fishy because what else are you going to be using it for? Yes, they can join lots of different rows of data, but you also have access to so much personal data about your customers,
Mm.
from their flybys cards, as well as what they're doing in store as well, how they move around stores. Don't tell me you're not going to use that in some way.
Yeah, yeah. I think it just, whether they are or not, it just seems like it seems to sound ominous and has that surveillance, just gets everybody's kind of, eyes across it. So we'll be interested to see if there's anything in response to this or it's kind of dies out because, as we said, it's not new news.
But also, I think we're also so used to being surveilled anyway. If you think about
Yeah.
all the online platforms you use and how they're using it, even like all the different AI platforms, they're just joining the dots of all the data from your different behavior. And it's almost become invisible in so many ways now that I wonder whether people really care that much. Because obviously,
Yeah, let's
the deal still
yeah.
went through. The Get Up petition didn't really have much of an impact, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, we're numb to it to a degree. There was a similar-ish story that we spoke about with Bunnings and
Mhm.
recording
Yep.
customers as well. And yeah, to your point, it's happening all the time. It's just sometimes people kind of freak out about it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, our first deep dive for the day is all about streetwear now, and two brands who have kind of fallen into the same trap, pardon the pun, which is Trapstar and Geedup. So, in the same week, both of them were made the news for all the wrong reasons, in that both of them had entered voluntary administration. Now, Trapstar confirmed they own administration. They've now been bought out of administration by Foot Asylum, but Geedup, similarly, Sydney streetwear brand, there was a winding up application from the ATO, and administrators have now been appointed as well. But they both actually suggest fairly similar stories as well. Both two streetwear brands who boasted, about £40 million in revenue in 2022. For Trapstar, Geedup, $17 to $20 million in 2024. Both using the same model, which is that scarcity drop model, but both unable to actually maintain that level of growth because in the last couple of years, they both suffered quite significant downturns in their revenue as demand really started to slow down. Now, there's a lot of reasons to which I can look at with this, such as like that scarcity model and trying to expand too fast meant that it was if you missed a drop or if a drop didn't sell out, suddenly you lost that hype. But if you kept kind of feeding it and pumping more and more product out there, you lose that scarcity. And it's something which is really important for streetwear brands and fashion in general, where if you see it on everyone, you stop being special. You stop being, you stop being a brand. You actually start becoming a bit of a commodity.
Yeah. I feel like this is potentially the consequences of that growing at all costs and not really growing at that kind of scalable, sustainable rather way, right? Or maybe it was profitable and it was sustainable previously, but now shoppers aren't interacting in those drops and in that kind of manufactured urgency the way that they used to. And so these businesses need to adapt.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if you are trying to that growth at all costs, trying to get more sales, ordering more product, trying to grow with every single drop, you're going to hit a limit where people don't think you're special anymore, particularly if you are operating on like a monthly drop model as well.
Yeah. I kind of always think about this in comparison to there's this beautiful business called Sabi, gosh, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Australian business. All the mums are wearing it, really fun, great t-shirts. They are growing so quickly that every time they do a drop, they naturally sell out within the first 2 hours, or at least the core sizes do. But you're not getting that kind of text saying, urgent, urgent, buy now. It's more just that natural, hey, we launch products on Friday. We're a small business, we can't make heaps, so get in while you can. And you know that they're going to sell out. So then the customers have created that urgency, and that's the culture of the business. So it seems like a brand like Sabi have created this organically, whereas from what I've seen of these more streetwear brands, it seems a little bit more manufactured from what I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And there's a great brand born and raised in LA, which is a great model because sometimes they don't drop anything for several months.
Yeah.
And it's deliberately that way because they don't want to burn out the brand. They don't want to oversaturate the brand. So when you see it, it's still special. But when you see every second kid on the block wearing it, suddenly it's a lot less special. But then the other thing as well is that from looking at some of the financials of this as well, both companies had directors who were drawing quite a lot out of the business too, which meant that the business wasn't left with enough working capital as well. So always thinking about that. And I think Paul Waddy posted something about this the other day, just in terms of like your business, if it's funding your lifestyle, you still need to always remember that you need to have money still in the business. You can't just keep taking money out of it and have that lavish spending, outweigh the cost of actually running the business.
Yeah. Or, well, it depends on your goals, right? And
Yeah,
objectives.
exactly.
If you want to.
Well, do you know what? You're absolutely right. It does depend on your goals and objectives. If you are planning to build a sustainable business, you need to think about it as a 100-year business, as the Japanese say. But if you just want to get in and get out, go
Yeah.
ahead and do that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Go in, make your money, get out. But
100%.
don't pretend you're going to be around for 100 years.
Yeah. 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 I feel like make what you can and then get out sometimes is always the best way.
Yeah. Now, there was a great article in Inside Retail as well from Olvera Advisors, which has talked about something we've talked about a lot before, which is that the middle is getting squeezed. And
Yeah.
in particular, they're talking about the rise of like Temu and Shein, which continue to grow, and then how the top end is still doing relatively okay, but it's that middle around that Sportscraft, Country Road, Mosaic brands who are really getting squeezed. Now, this is obviously nothing which we talked about before, nothing new, I should say, which we haven't talked about before. But the interesting thing about this is Anko, which is Kmart's house brand, are launching their first standalone K-Home store in Box Hill, New South Wales. That's quite remarkable. They are squarely going after IKEA territory here.
100%. It's a big move. It makes me super excited as a big IKEA fan and a big Kmart homewares fan. It makes a lot of sense. And to your point, where the market's kind of getting squeezed in the middle, there's a lot of opportunity for Kmart to take some of this budget space.
Absolutely. And in Australia, that furniture homewares market is worth about $19 billion annually. You've got Harvey Norman, IKEA, Amart, Freedom, all these brands who are in this space. And Anko's coming in to take a slice of that. And Anko has become a huge brand for Kmart. It's about 85% of Kmart sales, over 1 billion items sold a year. And I just realized it's actually sold in the Philippines in standalone Anko stores as well, which is wild when you think about it. So they're really tapping to this whole fact that people are actively trading down, for more premium quote unquote brands to find something which still looks good but is at a more affordable price. And I think that's an area which Anko have done extremely well.
Yeah. And kind of just knowing what you're going to get for that price point as well. It's not pretending to be anything that it isn't. I feel like they're really well positioned to challenge Temu in this space from a furniture and homewares perspective because they've got this amazing store network. Yes, they've got their own dedicated store coming, but just generally Kmart's everywhere. They will still beat Temu on shipping and turnaround
Mhm.
times for delivery.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's sort of since you can probably just go down there and pick it up as well. But it's such a
Exactly.
contrast to what we were just talking about with Okanui, where Okanui have a premium brand, a prestige brand built on distinctiveness and their heritage. Whereas Anko are just saying, hey, it's cheap. It looks pretty good, but it's cheap.
Well,
We're not pretending it's anything else.
their design team is putting a lot of effort into dupes and knockoffs, right? So I'm not that well versed in the furniture space, but I know that they have taken designs and directly written before, and it's kind of like that MCO piece where shoppers accept that it's a rip because it's cheaper and they accept that quality.
Yep. All right, that's all we have time for this week. A very quick episode. I do have a plane to catch. Alex, we will be at Online Retailer in a few weeks' time. So don't forget, if you do want your Online Retailer All Access Pass for retailers only, check out the show notes. We have 50 All Access Passes, but then also free floor passes as well, which I believe the prices of those have just gone up. But if you do want an All Access Pass and be one of the first 50 to get one, let us know and we will send one right to you.
Be sure to let us know because I have been kind of giving them away like hotcakes last week. Anybody that would we've got tickets to all their retailers. So yeah, definitely make sure you take those while you can.
Awesome. All right. In the meantime, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep selling. And we'll see you back next week.